Ms. Casada. Thank you for joining me today for our sixth grade NWA data chat. I appreciate you taking the time to review your students' data with me, and I look forward to hearing, what you've noticed and what's going on in your classes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Butler, for joining me and seeing how we can advance to our bubble babies and continue on with our accelerated class for sixth grade. My first block is my accelerated class. As you can see from the chart, they are very accelerated. We go in a lot faster pace in my class. They can really understand algebraic reasoning. They can really understand number operations. So we're kind of going into preparing them for algebra for next year for those that will be going into more advanced classes. My goal is to have a 84% and then finish off the year with a 90. Now, my second and my third block is where I have a lot of my bubble babies and my struggling babies. Also, my ESOL kids are in there and a lot of my RTIs, especially with my end of the day children. That is my third block. But as you can see, the second block struggles a little bit more, and that is with number operations. So really knowing PEMDAS and knowing when to use their multiplication versus adding. So we're going into that in small groups. We will break that down with more smaller groups. And then the same thing for third block. They struggle with operations as well, but they work on a more independent way when it comes to small groups. So they like having a teacher student also help them understand concepts rather than just hearing my voice all day.
Oh, I love that. I love that we're allowing students to do the reteaching, which is then strengthening them as well. I do know you mentioned small groups. What data were you using to group those small groups together? How are you grouping those students?
NWEA, the kids that are actually a little below level are the kids that I need to focus on. Those are what's considered bubble babies.
All right, so for the most part, you do leveled grouping versus heterogeneous grouping, where you may pair higher or above grade level students are paired with the below grade level, but when it comes to meeting with you, they're typically all on the same level.
We still rotate they're still on their level when it comes to their rotations. The only ones that go out of their rotations are those tutors.
All right, so I know sixth grade is a major transition year. A lot of new standards are introduced that the students are coming with some skills that could help them be successful in it. But have you noticed any patterns in some of these standards that they did not cover in fifth grade, that basic skills are missing that need to be remediated?
Operations, number and operations, which is what I said earlier, that was the things that we have to work on for my second and third block. My first block has it more, they understand it easier, but number operations, knowing when to use multiplication versus addition, especially with fractions. And we have just been using manipulatives in our centers.
So I see here on your slide, for those below grade level, can you just explain a little bit more about the targeted instructional software assignment? How are you kind of using that to differentiate for each learner?
So the pathway, you can assign specific areas. So for me, I would do operations. So I would create a pathway that would target that specific goal. Or I could just leave it with their specific pathway that they're on. So it's kind of giving them an extra boost from home.
No, I love that. I love how intentional you are with differentiating between the levels. Specifically, as a school, I know we've been struggling a little with enriching our above grade level students. So I love that even though you have your advanced class, that you also have those students who are in the other classes that you are still enriching, although they're not in that first class. And so that's very important that we're meeting all students where they are, and we've identified the students that may benefit from additional help, whether it be teacher-led small groups or even peer-to-peer instruction. And then just moving forward past this, I know we got this data and we're inundated with a lot of data throughout the years. How do you plan to use the data to examine student growth over time?
Well, my data helps me with my centers, and my centers I use after every lesson. So I have a structural cycle.
Perfect. I do want to thank you so much. It sounds like you've been very intentional with the things that you're doing within your classroom. I see a lot of growth. Sixth grade math always tends to provide the biggest growth in math each year. So we appreciate all that you're doing for our student success. And if there's any way that I could better support you throughout this school year, please let me know. And thank you for your time, Ms. Kazada.
Thank you.
You're welcome.